Today on the Trent Out Loud Podcast. I personally don't think that Draya being a 40-year-old woman dating a 22-year-old man is a problem. What up? It's your boy Trent Out Loud, and I'm back with another episode. All right, we are fresh off of episode 200. I hope you guys like the announcement. Now you know that we are on the radio, streaming on YouTube, on the radio, all over the world, man. The Trent Out Loud episode, the Trent Out Loud podcast is global, baby. Let's go. Anyways, we are back to our regular scheduled program, episode 201. We are getting back to entertainment, pop culture, and hot topics. Let's go. Today's lead story is, of course, the Oscars, which was horrible and just boring. Then we're going to jump into quick news. We're going to talk about Deidre, Lebron, Drake, a Florida mom that has an OnlyFans account and her kid got kicked out of high school, Tik Tok being banned, and Kayne and Vultures too. Then we're going to jump into question of the day, and then we're going to close out the show like we always do with sports news. Y'all know what time it is. Turn your TVs, radio, and your devices up. I'm about to start this show. Let's go. All right, the Oscars were horrible. First, why the hell did they start the Oscars at 7 p.m.? I turned on my TV at 7:30, thinking I'm going to catch a little bit of the red carpet, make sure that I'm early to watch the Oscars, and I find out that they're half an hour into the show. And then the show ends at 10:30 so that you could get Abbott Elementary in, so that this was horrible for ABC to do. I understand. By the way, shout out to Abbott Elementary. I know that's a really popular show, but to end the Oscars at 10:30 and start it at 7, that was just weird to me. So that already just started out super weird. I really did not like that. Anyways, I'll get on to the other things I didn't like about the show, but let me list the winners to you guys. Cillian Murphy won for Oppenheimer for Best Actor. He's a great actor from, what's that Netflix show he was on again? Oh my God, Peaky Blinders. If you guys want a really good show to watch Peaky Blinders. But of course, he won for Best Actor. I'm not mad at that. Oppenheimer won Best Picture. Oppenheimer actually also won. Actually, you know what? I'll just go with the list. Then there was Emma Stone, who won Best Actress. Original song was Billie Eilish. Shout out to Billie Eilish. Best Supporting Actress, Da'Vine Joy. I'm going to talk about her in a second. I'm going to play her acceptance speech and her winning. So shout out to Da'Vine Joy. Okay, we Best Animated. We don't talk about that. Best Director, Christopher Nolan. Best Supporting Actor, Robert Downey Jr. for Oppenheimer. By the way, Best Director, Christopher, was for Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer cleaned up. They got 7 awards on the night. I've never seen the movie, but I did hear that it is amazing. So not too much controversy going on. I think everybody unanimously knew that Oppenheimer was going to clean up. I think that's actually what made the award show so boring, but I digress. Let me just finish the list. All right. What else would you guys know? Best Original Score, Oppenheimer. Best Original Screenplay, Anime of the Fall. Best Adapted Screenplay, okay, you guys don't care. And I think that's really the best of the most of it. You guys don't really care about makeup and sound or whatever. So that's it. So that was Best Actor, Best Picture, Best Actress. That's all everybody really cares about, right? Actor, Supporting Actor. Hey, did I get Supporting Actress? Yeah, Supporting Actress I got, Supporting Actor I got, Supporting Actress. Okay, I got all of it. That's done. So that's your list. That's your list of winners. Let's get on to some of the highlights of the show. It was just boring, man. I only got 3 highlights of the show that were actually really cool. The first one was Da'Vine Joy. I have a clip of her being announced as a winner and a little clip of her win. So take a listen.
For so long, I've always wanted to be different. And now I realize I just need to be myself.
These are the type of wins that we like to see. A virtual unknown. You really don't know who she is. She's an underdog. Those are the things that make award shows great. You hate to see I shouldn't say hate to see, but it's boring to see a film like Oppenheimer win, clean up, Robert Downey Jr., all the people that you know. It just made for a boring award show. But for me, the highlight win, and I missed it because supporting actress is at the beginning, and no award show has ever started at 7 p.m. and I missed it, but at least I was able to catch it online and grab it and play it for you guys. But that was my number one highlight. So shout out to Davon, Divine Joy, sorry, because her name is DA''VINE. So Davine, not divine, but Davine Joy. Shout out to Davine Joy. And the second highlight was John Cena. He was funny. That was my funniest moment. It's my second one, but my first funny moment. John Cena and Jimmy Kimmel had a bit where John Cena presented the award for best costume, and he came from like behind Jimmy, or behind the drapes. And he was like, hey, I was going to come out naked, but I feel a little shy. I don't want to. And then he came out and he had like the award card kind of like hiding his private parts. And he came out, quote unquote, naked. That was actually really funny. And like, he couldn't walk normally because he couldn't turn around because his butt would have been out. So that was actually really funny. And actually kind of a little bit like, quote unquote, risque for the Oscars. I didn't think that they would do something like that, but it was a moment. It went viral. It was everywhere. So shout out to John Cena. He has a movie coming out. I don't remember the name. And that's actually what I thought was a miss, is that he has a movie coming out. And I think that he should have plugged that in. He has all of this viral moment and it's only going towards the Oscars and people don't even realize that he's up there promoting a movie. So that was a missed opportunity, but shout out to John Cena. That was actually a good bit. And then lastly, Donald Trump put out something on a Truth Social. It's not a tweet because it's not Twitter, but he put out something about Jimmy Kimmel on Truth Social, and Jimmy Kimmel read it out and had a really good comeback line at Donald Trump, which was probably the best part of the night, like the best comeback of the night. Take a listen.
Has there ever been a worse host than Jimmy Kimmel at the Oscars? Well, thank you, President Trump. Thank you for watching. I'm surprised you're still. Isn't it past your jail time?
Isn't it past your jail time? That was clever. That was smart. I really don't think that was written, so that's why that came off as funny. But like I said, Davine Joy was the best win for me. John Cena coming out naked to present best costume was really funny, and Donald Trump going after Jimmy, and Jimmy taking that and doing a spur of the moment and hitting Donald Trump over the head was really good candid moment. But other than those three moments, the 3.5 hours of the Oscars was very dull, very plain. You could have just recorded it and watched those three highlights, or just did like most people and just watch it online. But the biggest disappointment was starting an award show at 7 p.m. and ending it at 10:30. That is horrible for Abbott Elementary to squeeze in Abbott Elementary. Nah, man, I really don't like that. End the award show at 11, build up the hype, started from 8 to 11 or 11:30 like normal award shows. The Oscars missed the boat. Not a good award show. You could have just watched everything online. And that is the Trent Out Loud podcast report of the 2024 Oscar night. All right, that's it for lead story. Let's get into everyone's favorite quick news. Ring my bell. Draya Michele reveals that she's pregnant with a baby girl. Okay, at first headline, that's not so bad. Draya is pregnant. However, it goes a lot deeper than that. Draya is pregnant. She's 39 years old with an NBA star who is 22 years old. Let me read to you everything that's going on. I'll give you a little bit of comments that people are dragging and everybody's talking about because everybody thinks obviously that she is too old. To add to the story too, just quickly, I'll let you know that Draya has a 21-year-old son. So her now third child at 40 years old is with a 22-year-old and she already has a son that's 21. So her son's stepfather, if they get married, will be 1 year older than her son. So that's just a quick part of the story, but let me dig a little deeper into it and I'll let you know what I think because she's getting dragged online. People are calling her a predator and all of this stuff. Let me tell you the story. All right, so Draya made this post. You go, As women, we navigate through so much, often leading us to question, what is my purpose? For me, the magic lies in motherhood and the awe-inspiring ability to bring life into this world over the span of 2 decades. It's my superpower. And if anything can surpass the wonders of being a woman, it's the privilege of bringing another woman into existence. We are overjoyed to share our love for you, little girl. I'm excited to speak words to my daughter I've never thought I'd have. We are anxious about your arrival, but take time. This world can be tough, but know you are brought into a space of love, security, and adornment. Okay, that was Draya's post. All right. Now, right away, people already knew what was going on, but I'll just let you know that after that, Kyle Kuzmin shared a message to Draya and his friend, NBA player Jalen Green, about Jada's pregnancy. So people already knew, but then when Kyle Kuzmin wrote this, then it was pretty much like official. And he put on I think it was on his Instagram or Twitter. I think it was on Instagram. He goes, "It's up, family." And he added Jalen and then added Draya. And then everybody 100% knew that Draya was pregnant with Jalen's baby. So this is the report. Washington Wizard player Kyle Kuzmin shares a message to Draya and Jalen after Draya announced her pregnancy. Rumors about the romance between Draya and Houston Rockets shooting guard Jalen started back in August 2023 after the two were photographed walking beside each other. This report doesn't say it, but she was spotted leaving the Rockets game in overalls, and she looked like she was a little bit bigger than she was used to, and a lot of people have been speculating that she's pregnant. That's why it's not shocking, and everybody knew. Okay, so Draya made the announcement. Kyle confirmed who she was pregnant by, and then Draya put out this post. Get comfortable being misunderstood. Only a fraction of the people will be able to truly grasp your essence. You are not on anyone else's timeline of comprehension. Also, it's none of your business how others choose to perceive you. Most High sees you clearly. Let that be enough. So I don't think she wrote that, but that's somebody that wrote that and then she reposted it. Okay. So that's it. Now, let me read to you the backlash. So, all right, this is some comments in the comment section. Shade Calandrium wrote, let a man be 39 years old and get a 20-year-old pregnant, and y'all would be dogging him in the comment section. Don't let Draya off the hook. I am S. Rose wrote, when Jalen was born, Draya was having her first baby. So like I said, giving context, her baby daddy is the same age as her son. Okay. Then Aisha Toxin wrote, 3 children by 3 different fathers and still unmarried is wild, but I digress. Christian Smith 82 wrote, I'm 30 and I would scream if a 22-year-old tried to talk to me. Where is your mama, little boy? Okay. Bacon Brat wrote, since her firstborn is now an adult, she needs another baby to secure her bills for the next 18 years. Okay. So I don't know the details, but Draya's first 2 children are from athletes as well. So that comment is saying, she's not getting any child support, so she needs to find a new baby daddy that's an athlete to pay for child support. Okay. Philip Network wrote, y'all do realize Jay-Z and Beyonce are 12 years apart, right? 17 years apart is not that big of a difference. This young man is living out his fantasy with his dream girl. She was a very young mother, so her first son being the same age is irrelevant. Debbie Moore did it. Cher is doing it now. Men have done it for centuries. This felt a bit like a double standard. Leonardo DiCaprio is 50 and he dates girls that are in their early 20s. Let me read a couple more to you. Asia Alexa wrote, my girl Draya does not care about the opinions of others outside of her tax bracket. Billion 82 wrote, besides the money, what and how can a 39-year-old relate to a 22-year-old? I'm really curious. By MA wrote, as a 23-year-old who wouldn't even date a 22-year-old, I'm very intrigued in what she sees in him as a 40-year-old woman. Okay, so I think you guys get the entire story by now. You know what's going on. You know what's going on in the comment section and people's opinion. So here's my take on this story, okay? Now, I personally don't think that Draya being a 40-year-old woman dating a 22-year-old man is a problem. That's just my opinion. I think they're both adults. Jalen is 22 years old. He is a man. He's a full-grown adult. He's over 21 years old. In Canada, it's 18, 21 in the States. He could drink, smoke, do whatever he wants, okay? She's a grown woman. I don't think that that's an issue. Like one of the comments just said, Jay-Z and Beyonce are 12 years apart. I don't think that is that much of a problem. I do find it a little bit awkward because a man normally matures slower than a woman, normally. And this is not a double standard, but I understand when it's flipped around, a younger woman with an older guy, because some guys mature a lot later on in life. So Jalen at 22 and her at 40, I do understand a little bit how it could be hard for them to relate. But I was a very, very, very mature 22-year-old. I had owned my first house already at 22, and I had already 2 businesses. I don't know Jalen. He could be a very mature 22-year-old. At 22 years old, I was dating women that were 35 and 40 years old and getting along with them very well because I was a very, very mature 22-year-old. So I don't find that weird. Here is where I have a problem. Draya has a 21-year-old son. And that is what I think is wrong. And I think it's wrong for her to have a child while having a child the same age. I don't think that's good to show her children. I don't think that's a good example. And I think that makes her existing children's life very awkward and very uncomfortable. And for that reason, I don't agree with this. She can do whatever she wants. I'm just giving my opinion, but that's why I don't agree with it. Not because of the age, not because he's an athlete. No, I don't care about all of that. Like, do your own thing. Like I said, you could just assume that he's super mature. Fine. Or assume that she's after him for money. Whatever. Like, that's fine. The problem is that I don't think that she's being a responsible mom to her 21-year-old son. I think that sets a bad example for him. And more importantly, I think it makes it awkward for her 21-year-old son, for his stepfather, if they get married. Even if they don't get married, he has to look at a guy that's his same age that's sleeping with his mom. That's got to change the dynamic with her existing son, who's 21 years old, and Draya being 40. And that's got to be very awkward for the son. So as a mom doing that to her son, that's where I disagree with the situation. So that's my 2 cents on this story. There's so many different theories and so many different people talking about it. Like, it was literally been like the talk for the past 2 days. So I had to give my 2 cents on it. You guys let me know what you think about it, but that's just my 2 cents. Antonio Brown shades LeBron James after video of him surfaces having a conversation with Jeanie Buss and Linda Rambis. Okay, so this is, I told you guys at the top, this is a packed show. Okay, so I'm going to play the video. For those of you who are not watching this, I'll describe the video. LeBron is sitting down at a game. He's injured. He has a sprained ankle or whatever. He's sitting down, plain clothes, and there's 2 women on the side of him. One woman, Linda, is putting her hand, it's Linda, puts her hand kind of like on his bicep, and there's the other woman kind of like puts her hand on his shoulder and puts her head on his shoulder, kind of like leaning on him. So when you see the video and you have no clue who these people are, you're like, yo, who are these 2 women like falling and fondling over LeBron James? Like, we all know that LeBron is married. We all know that Savannah does not play around out here. And Savannah is his wife, by the way. Savannah doesn't even take pictures with men. She has been gone on record of saying she does not take pictures with male fans just because she doesn't want it to be misleading. So LeBron is very careful out here. So when I first saw this video circulating, I knew these women had to be somebody. So when this first dropped, nobody knew it was Jeanie Buss or Linda. So Antonio Brown, he's Antonio Brown. You know he's going to try to drag people. So he puts out this post online with two women beside him, making it look like LeBron is out here cheating or fooling around. And he goes, he got game 2. Whatever. Okay, so he puts that out. Now, later on, it comes out that the two women are Jeanie Buss. And if you go into the comment section, Jemele Hill, who is a known sports analyst, she comes out in the comment section, and actually they pinned this comment on the Shade Room, and she says this. Actually, let me read to you the story from the Shade Room first. It says, oops, it looks like Antonio Brown decided to throw some funny shade at LeBron James after video starts to circulate of LeBron chatting with Jeanie Buss and Linda Rambis. Just remember, when the video started circulating at first, we didn't know who these two women were. Okay. During a timeout at a recent Lakers game, LeBron walked over to chat with Jeanie, the team owner, and Linda, who is an executive director for the Lakers. Although the interaction appears harmless, some believe the ladies were a little too touchy with LeBron. All right. So now in the comment section, Jemele Hill goes, gals, this is the majority owner of the Lakers and the wife of the beloved of the beloved Laker Kirk Rambis. Jeanie Buss, also married, honestly doesn't deserve this silly messiness. Jeanie has been very close and professional. Sorry, Jeanie has a very close and professional relationship with a number of Lakers, including Magic, Kobe, Shaq, and countless others. Her demeanor would have been the exact same had it been any former players. Cool. So everyone's trying to defend Jeanie and defend this whole situation. Then Kendra G, for those who don't know, Kendra G is a radio personality. Kendra now jumps in the comment section and she's like, Jemele, nothing but love and respect for you, but this is not the proper response. Jeanie is not being professional out here. This is not professional behavior. She makes some spelling mistakes. Had LeBron been a woman and these two men were over there acting like this, even if he were the boss, it doesn't mean that it would go over well with two men touching up a woman. It wouldn't have gone the same way. Respect his wife. Stop touching married people. A wife and a boss should follow this basic rule. It's called respect. So, like I said, I don't know if I read that properly because there's a lot of spelling mistakes. So what Kendra G is saying is that there's LeBron, two women. Oh, it's harmless. The women are married. If it were the other way around and LeBron was a woman and there was two men chatting up this woman and one man put his hand on her leg and the other one had a hand on her shoulder, it would have been crazy. It would have been like sexual harassment, predator behavior. And that is, I agree with. If the roles were reversed, there's no way that two men, especially two men, forget about one, two men being touchy-feely. If this was Jeanie Buss in the middle and you had LeBron and AD and they were touching her leg. Let's say she had a skirt on. One was touching her leg. One was touching her shoulder. They would get torn up. It would be a problem. So I agree with the roles were reversed. More importantly, I shouldn't say more importantly, equally as importantly, my other opinion on this is whether it's man or woman or whatever, I fully agree with Kendra. He has a wife. You know what I'm saying? Whether you guys are married or you guys have a good relationship, he has a wife. You shouldn't be, especially on camera. I'm not saying to do it in private, but we all know how things can go viral and how it's going to be perceived. You got to think about how that's going to make Savannah feel. So even if you guys have a very professional relationship, and even if you might hug or you might give each other a kiss on the cheek, sitting down, having this kind of loose, funny conversation and being all giddy in a big public forum at a Lakers game where everybody has their phones out and everybody's always recording LeBron James. How can you not think how this is going to look online? Like, you guys are smart enough to know that something like this is going to go viral. Like, how could you not think about that? And how can you not think about how Savannah would feel and how your husbands would feel? Of course, Jeanie Buss and Linda's husbands are not as famous as Savannah, so we're not going to hear, but how are the husbands going to feel? So I think Jeanie Buss was totally wrong in this. LeBron James, I don't know if you can really fully blame LeBron in this, because if you watch the video, which I will put up on my YouTube page, go to my YouTube, Trent Out Loud. But LeBron seems like he's in a story, he's holding his position, and these two girls are kind of just on him laughing. He doesn't like push them off or make him feel any way, but they're in a public setting. Like, I don't think he could do that. It's going to cause more of a riff and more of a story. So he just seems like, holy shoot, I don't know what's going on. And he just continues the story. So I don't think LeBron is at fault and he played it right. I fully blame Jeanie and Linda. I don't think they need to make a public apology about it or whatever, but I hope for Savannah's sake or LeBron's sake, I hope that at least Jeanie called up Savannah and was like, yo, sorry about that. We all know, not sorry that she was talking and laughing with him, but sorry to not have thought that that would go viral and that they would have this kind of conversation. Because that's exactly why Savannah doesn't take pictures with men, so that nobody can go online and make any speculation about her. So yeah, I just think that that's what Jeanie should do. And yo, shout out to LeBron, man. He's always on a clean slate out here. He has no skeletons in his closet. Nobody has been able to say anything about him. He's always very loyal and well, and treats Savannah well. They have a great, beautiful marriage. Yeah, so I understand that people are always going to try to tear that up. I understand the viral social world we live in, but yo, stay away from LeBron and Savannah. They're a great, beautiful black couple out here. Stop trying to tear them down, all right? Shout out to Savannah. Fans suspect Drake of singing about Latto's little sister Brooklyn in his song after an alleged video surfaces of the two out on a date. All right. Whew, this is the other viral story. I told you this was a big show. I don't know how I'm going to get through this. But so Drake now is trending again because he was, quote unquote, seen on a date with Latto's little sister. But not to have like any spoiler alerts or out here or anything, but yo, this is a publicity stunt if you ask me. Drake just signed 4 Bats. Drake just put out the remix with 4 Bats, and it literally just coincided with Drake being out on a date with Latto's little sister. And apparently there's a lyric in the song that is and the lyric is where Latto's little sister Brooklyn is from. I can't play a clip of it for copyright reasons, but he said, how you get all that body and face though? What kind of water they serving in Clayco? Clayco. That's where that's where Latto's sister is from. Latto's little sister Brooklyn. Another part of the reason why everyone's talking about this is Drake is 37 years old and she is 21. Yeah, Drake is 37 years old. She's 21. So another age story. And they're like, oh my gosh, she's so young or whatever. I don't think there's really much to this story, to be honest with you. Drake is a master genius marketer. I just think that it's really funny that the weekend, not the artist, but the weekend the song drops, the weekend the remix drops, and Drake is out here trying to promote 4 Bats and the remix, that there's a story attached to it that's gone viral. And part of the song, part of the remix, he's talking about the girl that he's out on a viral date with, and that's Latto's sister. I don't think anything is going to come of it. Drake's not getting married. There's no baby mom is not pregnant. Maybe he's seen her and maybe he does like her, but I think that this is Drake just masterminding and getting people to talk about the song, getting people to talk about this story. I don't really think we should draw too much into it. She's 21, he's 37. She's legal, he's legal, but I really think that this is really just promotion for the song, and y'all are making too much of a big deal about this. A Florida school is allegedly threatened to expel a student's mother over her OnlyFans account. All right, I'm not going to get into this because, like I said, we're short on time. We always hear Ron DeSantis and Florida doing such crazy things to people. Like, Florida is literally like, you cannot do anything outside of like these Republican Christian norms. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. If a mom has her child in a Christian school, you cannot tell the mother that you're going to kick her child out of school because of the job that she does. I don't think that that's fair. OnlyFans is set up to be a safe space for women to interact with their fans. Some are nude, some are risque, some do other video content. Like, whatever this woman is doing on her OnlyFans account is her own private business. And I just don't think that this Florida school board should be able to get away with something like this. And I just think something like this, I just want to highlight it because I think something like this just starts a spiraling, a downward spiral, right? And Florida is always passing these crazy laws, like you cannot teach, Black history in schools. They're throwing out certain books. And now, like, you have this mom who has an OnlyFans account. You don't know anything that she's doing on this account, or we don't know, but she's just, her kid is going to get kicked out of school for it. Like, I just think it's really just unfair. So I just want to let you guys know about it. Joe Biden says if Congress passes a bill to ban TikTok and they bring it to his desk, he will sign it. All right, I touched on this story a few weeks ago. The Senate, or I think it's the House, this is one branch of the government in the U.S., is out here trying to ban TikTok. I'll read to you guys a little bit of the story. Social media has mixed feelings about President Biden after he admits his plans to sign a bill that could ban TikTok if Congress passes it. Biden told reporters that he would sign the bill forcing TikTok Chinese owner ByteDance to divest its popular social media company or face a U.S. ban, while addressing the bipartisan legislation that is on track to get a vote next week in the House. Biden said if they pass it, he'll sign it. If passed, ByteDance will have 6 months to divest TikTok or face a ban in the U.S. So TikTok has been facing a lot of backlash lately. They haven't been paying Universal Music properly, so there's no Universal artist on TikTok. And now the U.S. might ban TikTok. As a content creator myself, you guys know that I'm always an advocate for creators and social spaces. I do understand the U.S. This is a Chinese app. They can take your information and reverse it and use it against the U.S. This is an outside application. Most of the other social media is owned by the U.S. so that they have some control of it. The U.S. is going to try to force TikTok to divest their ownership out of the Chinese, country or Chinese government. So I understand where they're coming from. I feel bad. I do have a lot of friends that are like big on TikTok and make money on TikTok. So I understand where they're coming from. But I do think it's fair. They're giving them, after the bill is passed, they're giving them 6 months. They're giving TikTok 6 months to divest and bring that content somewhere else and not house it in China and be able to use this information against the US. I totally get it. You guys know me. I try to see both sides. So just wanted to let you guys know that TikTok was already on one leg, not having Universal Music. Now they might be banned out here. How do you guys feel about that? What is going to happen if TikTok is not around? I don't think it's a big deal. We have seen, big platforms like, Vine and MySpace and come and go. I feel like with Snapchat and Instagram and Facebook, I think we'll be all right out here. I mean, Reels is pretty much TikTok, but I do feel sorry for the content creators that, have a big following on TikTok. I do feel for them. So, shout out to them. For those people who are more on TikTok and divested heavily in TikTok, maybe start moving, your followers over to different platforms because it's not looking good out here for TikTok. And in our last story in quick news, Vultures 2 will not be dropping on streaming platforms. Kanye West and Ty Dolla $ign's Volume 2 will not be dropping on streaming platforms. It's going to be available solely on Yeezy.com. Anybody who's been watching this podcast daily or weekly, you guys know that I'm always trying to keep y'all up to date on what Kanye is doing. I'm rooting for him out here, for an independent artist to try to make it without these big conglomerates behind him, like streaming platforms and Adidas. Whether you like him or not, you gotta, vote and push and try to, wish well on the independent person out here. And like I said all the time, if anybody could make it in this entrepreneurial world independently, it's Kanye. We have been pushing for artists and, to go independent and cut out the Universal Music Group, the Warner Music Group, and make their money that they deserve. All these music industries and all these platforms are taking money from artists. As a content creator myself, on the podcast and content end of it, it's the same thing. But I always tell you guys all the time out here that I am always an advocate for the independent platforms getting your money. I understand that Kanye is already rich enough, but if he does something like this and is successful, it's going to make Universal and Warner and all these major platforms have to think differently and approach artists differently. So whether you like Kanye or not, root. And if you do, if you do have a friend that's a content creator, if you do have a friend that's an independent artist out there, root for this to work. I'm rooting for this to work. There's a big, text back and forth conversation about him revealing it. I'm not going to read all of it to you, but if you are a fan of Kanye, if you're a fan of independent artistry out here, support Vulture 2. It's going to be available on Yeezy.com for $20. All right, this brings us to question of the day. If you could make one unserious heaven phone call, who would that phone call be? All right, so unserious, like no, if your mom or dad or a family member passed away, not that. Like unserious, take out the somber moment out of it. If you had one phone call to make to somebody up in heaven, who would it be? All right, listen to these funny comments, and then I'll tell you what my phone call would be. Somebody said, John Benet Ramsey, because I need to know. Outside the box wrote, I'm calling Tupac to see if he really did like Jada. That was hilarious to me. Sunny103 wrote, I'm calling Noah. How you get two of every animal? Did they fight back? And why did you bring roaches? People are hilarious, man. Davine82 wrote, I'm calling Whitney. Girl, what happened in the tub? Hassam Fod wrote, you guys are just assuming everyone is in heaven. Ha ha ha, funny Hassan. My only call is to Eve. I guess Adam and Eve. Funny. Oh, somebody else wrote Eve. Jassa82 wrote Eve because I really want to know what happened to her, Adam, and that whole Apple situation. Kenry82 wrote, I'm calling Michael Jackson to ask why he was playing in our faces with that fake voice. Huh? Yeah, I don't get that one, but whatever. Raw82 wrote, I'm calling Pablo Escobar. Where is the money hidden? That's hilarious. That's actually a really good one. Devontae82 wrote, I'm calling Kobe to see what happened because ain't no way that helicopter just crashed. I need to know. Kaylon Love wrote, I'm calling to hear Kim Porter's secrets. Woo, okay, that was a Diddy dig. Ken82 wrote, I'm calling and I'm asking them to put Jesus on the line. That's funny. Essa Baby 920 wrote, I'm calling Biggie because I need to know who shot ya. That's a good one. Angel 82 wrote, I'm calling Kanye West mama to let her know that he ain't acting right. These are hilarious, man. Anyways, mine is not that funny. I want to call Martin Luther King. I want to let him know that his dream has somewhat become a reality, and I would like to know what he thinks we should do next. That's my call, man. That's my call. I want to talk to Martin Luther King. I want to let him know where we're at. I want to let him know what he's done for us, where we are as black people, and what he thinks our next step should be. That's my call, man. All right, this brings us to sports news. Multiple players ejected after bench clearing altercation during LSU and South Carolina's college game. This was nuts. It was literally everywhere, went super viral. My girl, Angel Reese, and another player were like heated. They were getting into fights and arguments kind of like in the middle of the game. And then one of the girls pushed another girl, and it was just nuts. And it was just amazing to see this kind of altercation happen in college, and on top of it, women's basketball. I think this is like the second or third time I'm talking about women's basketball on my podcast in the past 2 weeks. Like, women's basketball is literally like really creeping up in here. Like, it's really starting to become really popular. Not creeping up, but it's really starting to get really popular here. I'll read you a little bit of the story. Oops, things got a little heated between LSU and South Carolina players during the fourth quarter at the SEC championship. The incident started when somebody from the LSU team grabbed another person from South Carolina team, and they threw elbows, and a whole entire fight broke loose. Things began to escalate when the brother of one of the players was seen jumping onto the court before escorted away by security. After the scuffle, a couple of the players were ejected. And listen to this. The entire LSU bench was ejected for leaving the bench area during a fight. And the South Carolina and all of South Carolina bench was also ejected. It was crazy. I'll put a little clip of it on my YouTube page at Trent Out Loud. But anyways, LSU ended up losing the game 79-72. But to see a bench clearing fight between a women's college championship, women's college game was just amazing. You guys know I love Angel Reese. She wasn't the one that instigated that fight, but the whole game, she was going at it with other players. The coach got into it at the press conference afterwards. The coaches were backing them up. It was just really cool to see. Go on my YouTube page and check out the story. It's really good. I love what's going on in female basketball. It's just really good out here to not always be reporting and always talking about men's basketball. Women's basketball is getting really exciting. It's getting really aggressive. Actually, it's even more aggressive than men's basketball. When's the last time you heard of a bench clearing brawl during a men's game? Not promoting violence or anything out here, but I'm just saying it's really good to see women's basketball being so competitive. And yeah, shout out to LSU. Shout out to South Carolina. Y'all are doing it out here for the females in college basketball. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It's your boy, Trent Out Loud. Peace! For more content, you could subscribe, download, or listen to the Trent Out Loud podcast wherever you listen to your podcasts, or you could watch us on YouTube. Just search Trent Out Loud. For showtimes and updates, you could follow us on all social platforms at Trent Out Loud. Go to signupexpert.com/Trent. Once you sign up for all betting apps and get all your bonuses and get all your rewards, go to your app store and download BetStamp and use promo code TOL.